Hello, everybody. You are welcome. Gabby Anyawu, welcome. Vicky Glasgow, you are welcome. Precious, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Let's wait for a few more people to join, then we kick start. Welcome, everybody. I'm so happy to have you here today. Welcome. Alaho Olukemi, welcome to today's live session. Idra Limited, welcome. Okay. Okay, you are all welcome to today's live session. Other people will be joining us. I can see KMDZ24. You are welcome. I'm happy to have you here. Tis Collection, welcome. You are all welcome to today's live session. And like you all know, Nexi Concept Limited normally bring to you valuable information every Wednesday by 12 noon. So we are here today to give you another valuable information that has to do with your study abroad. And my name is Elizabeth Oluyemi. I'm a student recruitment advisor here at Nexi Concept Limited, and I'll be the one taking you through today's session. So, what is today's session all about? I'm sure majority of you have seen it out there, and that is why you are joining us this afternoon. It is how to revise and perfect your personal statements. That is what we are going to be discussing today. So in today's session, we are going to be giving you tips on how to analyze a successful and unsuccessful personal statement for your study application. Yes. So majority, you would have, maybe you or another person, you would have heard people saying it before that, oh, without your personal statements, you can miss out on admission. You would have heard a lot of things, and there is no lie there, because personal statement is an important document required for your application. Like, it is very important. It is not a document you can overlook. It is not a document you can overlook, because this will, it is your personal statement that will give the admission committee an insight into who you are, your motivations, your suitability for the program, and also it also gives you an opportunity to talk about yourself. You'll be able to sell yourself outside your grade. You know, we have some people that do not have good grades, while we have people that have first class, second class upper, second class lower. We still have people that have third class with quite a number of years of experience, you know. But with your personal statements, you will be able to prove to the admission committee that you are fit, you are suitable for this course. So that is why some people are always scared of personal statement, and that is why we are always telling you, take your personal statement serious, because that is the only opportunity you have to sell yourself to the school, especially for students that would not have to do interview in any way. Because some students will still do interview, but we have some students that will not do interview. So for students that are not doing interview, you have to take your personal statement serious. And even for students that will be doing interview, sometimes the university will not even call you for interview at all. Why? Because they've not even seen the reason to call you for it. So right from the start, once they see your personal statement, it's an off for them. Like, just like, oh, this one is not eligible. They won't bother calling you for an interview. So please, let's take the personal statement serious. Okay, yeah, I can see more people have joined. Sophie, you are welcome. Dami, welcome. Ade Alima, welcome. Yo Jerinde, welcome. Okay, Sophie, hi Elizabeth. Oh, definitely gonna. Thank you, Sophie. Okay, so let me just quickly do a brief introduction again. So I'm Elizabeth Oluyemi. I'm a student recruitment advisor here at Next Concept Limited, and I'll be the one taking you through today's session. And the topic for today's session is how to revise and perfect your personal statements. So today I will be giving you tips on how to analyze a successful and unsuccessful personal statement for your study application. Thank you. Kolanon Alimade, thank you so much. So I gave a brief of what a personal statement is. I mentioned that a personal statement, which some people also call a statement of purpose, is an important document required for your application process. Very important. So those are the things I've said before some people joined. I said this will be the only document that will give the admission committee an insight into the kind of person you are, your motivation, your suitability for the program you are going for. Also, it gives you an opportunity to sell yourself to the admission committee. I also mentioned that there are some students that their course do not require interview, which means this personal statement is the only opportunity for them to tell the admission committee the kind of person they are. So let's move forward. So what am I going to be talking to you about today? You already know what the topic is, but I'll be breaking the topic into like 4 parts, because before you can revise and perfect your personal statements, or before you can analyze that this is a successful or unsuccessful personal statement, there is something that is very important, and this is knowing what personal statement itself is. So I will be starting this session by talking about personal statements. Then I will talk about the contents of personal statements, what should be in personal statements, what is expected to be in personal statements. I would cite example and give you brief explanation on each point on what is expected in your personal statement. Then I will now move to talking about the tips to differentiate between a successful and an unsuccessful personal statement. So let's dive into it. Okay, so a personal statement is a 1 to 2 page essay that talks about you. It gives a brief introduction about you. It talks about your educational background or academic background. It talks about your employment or professional experience. It talks about why you want to go for the master's program. If your own is undergraduate program, why you want to go for undergraduate program at the time you are going. It also talks about why you chose the institution, why you chose the course. It talks about why you chose the country you are going to. It talks about your modules, your course modules, the modules you will be doing by the time you get to the country you are going to, your motivations, your career goals, and how it relates to the course you are going to study. Then also, finally, it talks about your postgraduate study plan, what you intend doing after your study. So those are the things that we must see that the admission committee are expecting on your personal statements. So we are starting with the introduction. So your introduction, we all know how important introduction is. Take for example, if you just meet me somewhere out there and I'm like, I'm Elizabeth, I'm just saying I'm Elizabeth, that's all. So you are Elizabeth, so what should we do? So I have to be able to talk about, I'm Elizabeth, I am a student recruitment advisor, I work with Next Concept Limited. At Next Concept Limited, we do this, we do that. Within 5 minutes, I'll be able to tell somebody I'm meeting for the first time who Elizabeth is. So I'm simply saying first impression lasts long, okay? So same thing applies to your personal statement. The way you are able to engage the admission committee for your first paragraph will determine. Sorry, you can't hear me well. I guess, sorry about that. I guess that should be network. Just confirm if it is better, please. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so like I was saying, introduction matters a lot because admission committee will be receiving quite a number of applications. So once they read your introduction, like the brief introduction about you, okay, thank you, colon. Okay, someone can hear me. So please, Bobby Gado, please check your network. I think other people can hear me clearly. Thank you. Thanks for the confirmation. Okay, so like I was saying, admission committee, they read a lot of personal statements. They have a lot of personal statements coming in. So imagine, please, Bobby, just log out, coming back and refresh your network. Okay, so I'm so sorry about that. Imagine admission committee receiving a lot of personal statements. So before they can dwell more on your own, it is important that you grab their attention right from the start. So that is why introduction matters. So what should be in your introduction? Here you are talking about yourself. You are to show an enthusiasm for the subject. You talk about your knowledge, your understanding about the course you are going for. And please, when you are introducing yourself, avoid cliche, because there is a normal way people start personal statements. You see people saying, right from my young age, I've been doing this. It is common, like it is generic. You don't start that way. You don't have to start that way. Your personal statement has to be personal, just like the name implies. Let it be personal. It is you. You can start by talking about your story. And you can decide to start by talking about, okay, my name is this. That is how you want it. Do you understand? You can start any way you want it, but please don't start the generic way. Right from my young age, I've been following my mom to the market. Yes, it's good. It sounds good, but it is generic. Everybody wants to start that way. For people going for nursing, right from my young age, I've chosen interest in caring for people. Why must this thing start with right from my young age? Do you understand? So don't let it be generic. Let it be more engaging. Let it be personal to you alone. The way Elizabeth will write her own will be different from the way Ola Kicho will write his or her own. Do you understand? So that is the introduction aspect. Let me give you a brief example. You can start by saying, okay, I'll give you a good example of how you can start, and then I will now give you a bad example. So we are communicating the same way, but one is looking more personal to the person than the other. So you yourself, you will be able to say why it is personal. Okay, so now see this. My interest in law began when I read a book about the U.S. Supreme Court justice whose arguments helped to persuade governments to change policies on gender equality. So the person is trying to relate it to something that has happened to her before. Not that the person is starting with, from a young age, I have been fascinated by intricate workings of the legal system. Who is not fascinated? Everybody is always fascinated with something good when they are young. So you have to be able to relate it to a personal experience. Do you understand? Just might be that, okay, during my undergraduate days, I was opportune to visit a rural community, and I was able to see underprivileged children who are lacking in terms of health, food-wise. Like, you talk about what you see that is making you pick interest in that course. So that is introduction. You will notice I'm dwelling on introduction because introduction matters a lot. And it will determine if the admission committee will be able to dwell on your personal statements, or your personal statements will just be boring to them right from the beginning. Okay, so that is the first thing. The second thing is the education or academic background. So this is easy. You are to summarize your academic history. You talk on your degree. If you can mention 1 or 2 coursework you did or your research work that is related to the course you are going to study. If it is not related, you don't need to dwell more on it, but you should still talk about it, that you studied so. Okay? Then if you are this person that has achieved a lot, talk about your achievements. But please, when you are talking about your achievements, don't be overconfident talking about your achievements. You might sound too boastful. Do you understand? Talk about your achievements in a simple manner, not in a boastful manner. Do you understand? Then talk about your skills and knowledge. All this should come when you are talking about your education and academic background. Then we move to your employment history or professional experience. So for your employment history or professional experience, you have to describe the relevant work experience related to your field of study. You talk about your role, responsibility, what you learn during the work you were doing. Not that you just start talking, I worked in this place, I worked in that place, okay. I worked in Nexi Concept Limited, I worked in University of Hertfordshire, I worked here. But you are not telling us what does the work, what did you do there while you were working, what happened, what were you able to achieve, how did your achievements, like what impact is the achievements having on the study you are going for? Do you understand? Which skills were you able to develop during your work experience? What impact or contributions did you make? So all those things you have to mention it while talking about your work experience. So when you are done, so it is a good time for you to now talk about why you want to go for that study at that time. Maybe why you want to go for master's at that time, or why you want to go for your bachelor's degree at that time. Why are you talking about this? Because majority of the people that are going for study, some people are not just graduating. Some people graduated maybe 5 years ago. So why do you now feel like now I should go for my master's degree? So there should be a reason why. It might be because, okay, I've been working in this field. I've been working in this construction industry for over 5 years now, and I've seen a reason to advance in my career. So there should be a reason why you want to go for the study. Do you understand? And like I said earlier, make it personal. Personalize it. Talk about your story. You can talk about something that happened maybe while you were working for a client and you realize that you are lacking something, and you got to know that furthering your study will help you. So it will not be only that time you were talking to a client. You can just give instances, like 2 or 3 instances when that thing happened. Do you understand? So after you've talked about that, we have people going for research courses. Talk about your research interest if you are going for research courses. Talk about the research you've done in the past, your previous research, how it's aligned with the research you are going for. Talk about that as well. So now we move to the reason why you chose the program or the reason why you chose the institution. Yes, the admission committee they are interested in why you chose their institution. So out of the large number of institutions we have in US, in UK, in Australia, any country you want to go to, so you just decide to choose their own institution. Why? There should be a reason. What do they have in their institution? What is particular to their institution? Maybe their reputation, their ranking, maybe the faculty. It might be their facilities, the facilities they have. It might be the location of the institution. Do you understand? You are going to mention all these things. Then your program. Why this program? Why are you choosing the program? What makes the program different from? Because let's say you want to study international business management. Then another school has international business management as management and international business. You know they are the same. So why are you choosing that program? Why? You should be able to say, okay, I'm choosing this program because during my past study, for my previous study, my previous experience, let there be alignment. Let it relate. Do you understand? Don't just write something generic. Let it be personal to you. What I'm going to write should be different from another person. Do you understand? So talk about the reason for choosing the program and the reason for choosing the institution. So after you've talked about that, now you have to talk about why you chose the country. Let's say it is the UK or the US or Australia, Ireland, any country. So you have to talk about, okay, So why I'm choosing the UK because why are you choosing the UK? If you are coming from Nigeria, there should be a reason why UK is your best fit and US is not your best fit. Because okay, UK their courses last for 1 year, while US their own master courses last for 2 years. UK their undergraduate courses last for 3 years. There should be something, there should be a reason why you are choosing that country over other countries. It might be because UK has quite a number of good universities, but which country does not have it? So you have to give reasons that are peculiar to that country alone. So after you've talked about why you chose the country, talk about the modules that interest you. Okay? So these modules that interest you also has to do with why you chose the institution sometimes. Because like I said a school has international business management. Another one has business and international management and international business. They are the same, but the course modules might be different. There might be a slight difference in their course modules. So you should be able to talk about, oh, for this particular school, by the time I went through the course modules, these course modules intrigued me. Mention like 3 or 2, it might be more than 2, mention like 3 or 4 course modules that interest you in that school. Then talk explicitly about the course modules, telling them that when you notice this, realizing that these course modules will help you achieve this, achieve that. So now you are even going back again to your motivation. Your course modules will help you achieve this, will help you fuel your passion for studying, your passion for that course. So you should be able to relate everything you are talking about. So after you've spoken about the course modules that interest you, you are talking about your motivation, which you would have stylishly mentioned while you were talking, but you have to dwell more on it. Your career goals, what you are aspiring to become in the next 5 years. So when you are talking about your career goals, you not just say, so I wish to come back to my home country to use this to do what? I wish to come back to my own country to use this degree to start working in my home country. No, anybody can write that. They know that you want to come back to your home country to use the degree to work, but you have to be able to talk more about the job. Demonstrate the talk about, make it personal. By the time you are back to your home country, you would be more marketable to employers in your home country. Do you understand? Then your own goals might be to meet international people, to become global. Maybe you are a business personnel, you want your business to become global. And by going there to study, your business will become more global, because definitely there is no way you would not meet people over there. So that is why I'm saying you have to make it personal. So mine might be because, okay, by the time I'm back to my own country, within the next 2 years, I'm going to found my own business. That is my career goal, right? It might be different from yours. Yours might be because you will be promoted to a managerial position. That is why I said make it personal. Talk about yourself. So after you've spoken about your motivation and career goal and how it relates to the course you want to go and study, then talk about what you intend to do after your program. That is your postgraduate study plan. So it is interwoven into your career goals. So you can have everything in a paragraph. So you talk about, okay, so by the time I'm back, by the time I'm done with this study, some people will be like, they have the plan of advancing their study again, maybe go for PhD because they want to become, they want to be in the academic field. That is your own. It is different from another person's own. Do you understand? So let it be personal. Let it relate to your own personal story, not generic. So that is what you need in your personal statement. So when you are closing your personal statement, like when you are finalizing it, the conclusion, ensure that you are finalizing it in a good way. You started well, so you should be able to end it well. in a way that you will leave a lasting impact in the mind of the admission committee for them to say, oh, I read something now. Let me go back to read again. Okay? I need to go back to read. There's a student that wrote this. I need to go back to read. So your take note of this. Your introduction is to keep them, to make them to grab their attention and make them stay on your personal statement without getting bored. While your conclusion is to leave a lasting impact on them. They must be able to say, I'm going back to see what this student wrote there. Do you understand? So that is it. So that is basically what personal statements content should look like. Now, we are going to move to, now that you know what personal statement is, you know how your personal statement should look, then we can now say, let's talk about the tips. Because I know some of you already have the personal statement written, while some people, they just want to start. So that was why I said, let me talk about personal statement and tell you the contents of personal statement before we move forward. So now that you know what personal statement is, we can now move ahead. So we have some people, they are always feeling overwhelmed, like once they hear personal statement, like how will I go about it? How will I write it? Let me say something, just put your mind at rest. There's nothing there, because personal statement is meant to be conversational, because you want them to know you want them to see the kind of person you are. So you don't need to give to someone to write it for yourself. It is what you should write yourself, especially for people that will be doing interview. Because when you are doing your interview, you are going to say what is in your personal statement. So how do you defend what is in your personal statement if someone wrote it for you? Or even if it is AI generated? AI is not human being, so it will always be different. So write it yourself. So for people that are scared and feeling like they can't write it, let me just give you like a few questions you should ask yourself when you are about to get started, when you want to write it. You can just jot it somewhere. Okay, now I want to start writing personal statement. Like before you start writing, you can just jot it somewhere. Ask yourself the question, okay, why have I chosen this course? Just write the reason why you've chosen the course. Write it somewhere. Okay, what excites me about this subject? Maybe your own is nursing. What excites you about nursing? Yours might be social work. What excites you about social work? Yours might be law. We have quite a number of courses out there. So after you've been able to write something down, just let it come, like the flow come. Don't stress yourself too much by saying, what will I write again? Just write it the way it's coming. So by the time you are now putting it down in words to turn it to a personal statement, it will be easy for you. So ask yourself another question. Is my previous study and current study relevant to this course? Like my previous study and current work experience, like, is it relevant to this course? Okay, let me see. Some people will be like, okay, I studied mass communication. Now I'm looking at going for international business management. How does mass communication relate? Yes, mass communication relates. As a business personnel, you are going to communicate with people out there. So, okay, let me write it. Let me think about it. How does it relate? You write those things, just let it come. Put your mind at rest. It will come. Do you understand? Also, think about the life experiences you've had in the past. Talk about them. Okay, in the past, this has happened, that has happened. Talk about those ones too. What achievements were you proud of in the past? What achievements were you proud of? Jot those things down. What skills have you acquired? Jot those things down. What are your plans and ambition? So after you've jotted those things down, then the content I told you, what is expected to be in your personal statement, you cannot bring it out and start writing it one by one. Looking at what you've jotted somewhere, writing it one by one. So when you are now done, then you can now say, so now I have to review this personal statement. Let me analyze it. Let me see if it's a successful personal statement or an unsuccessful personal statement. So that will take us to tips on how you can analyze a successful personal statement. So now we are assuming you are done with your personal statement. You have written your personal statement, a good one that is personalized to you alone. not an AI generated personal statement, not a generic one that you just pick a template online and you started writing. From a young age I've been fascinated. Not that one, please. You know, we already discussed that. So now you can now go to the tips on how to analyze a successful and unsuccessful personal statement. Okay. And the first tip I gave you was the content and structure. You should check for the content and structure of the personal statements. I made mention that if the personal statement is in a clear structure with introduction, academic background, career goals, your professional experience, why you chose the program, and your conclusion, if everything is well written in a clear manner, not in a vague manner, then check for the relevant, how relevant the content you are putting there is. Don't put irrelevant content. There are some content that are irrelevant. So don't put irrelevant content, because remember, you are working with some schools will say 4,000 characters. And when we are looking at 4,000 characters, trust me, it can be up to 1,000 words. Do you understand? So check for, remove irrelevant content. Once you are having irrelevant content there, it is an unsuccessful statement of purpose or personal statements. So check if you don't have vague words there. Check the structure, like I said. So once you have checked all those things and you see that this thing is good, then you can give yourself a thumbs up. Then also check for the relevance of the program. Like, what did you see? What did you talk about regarding the program? Can you see that the program is aligning with your past, your previous academic background, your previous degree or your experience? It must align. If it is not even aligning with your background, your academic background, it should align with your experience. There should be a reason. There should be something that is making you interested in what you are going for. Because once they can't see why any relationship with what you've done before and what you are going for, they will be like, then why are you going for it? Do you understand? So check it. If you see that your own personal statement is not connecting your background or goals with the program, please, that one is already giving us a sign of unsuccessful personal statements. You have to check it again and look at what you can write to make it align with what you've done before. Be it your academic experience, academic background, or your professional background. Also, check for the authenticity and personality, like how personalized the bank statement is and how genuine your bank statement is. Not the one AI will generate for you. Like I said, AI is not a human being. AI cannot write like us. And there are tools they use to check if you wrote this thing yourself or AI helped you to write it. And in a case whereby they get to know that AI wrote the personal statement for you, that can be classified as fraud. And once it is classified as fraud, you might not get the admission. So check the authenticity and the personality of the bank statement. Is it genuine? Does it feel genuine? Is it relatable with what you've done before? That was why I said earlier that you can talk about your story, your personal story, what has happened to you in the past. So we were in school, maybe they were opportune to get awards. You can talk about the award, but remember, you must not be boastful while talking about it. Maybe you are thinking, how will I be boastful while writing? Trust me, if you are a boastful or proud person and maybe it shows in the way you talk, it will definitely show in the way you write as well. So don't be boastful while talking about your achievements, but talk about your achievements. Let them see your achievements. Okay? Also, check if your personal statements Check how you are concluding your personal statement. Check if you put your career goals, if you clearly spoke about your career goals. If you are not talking about your career goals in your personal statement, it is going to be a thumbs down. That means it is falling on the side of the unsuccessful personal statement. Remember, we are trying to analyze what a successful and an unsuccessful personal statement is. Okay? Also, talk about your adaptability and your willingness to learn. Let them see that you are willing to learn, you are willing to grow. Not that, don't show them you are a rigid person. Let them see you are willing to grow. Let them see those gaps you are trying to bridge by going for the study. So if you are checking your personal statement and your personal statement is not showing all these things, that is not a thumbs up. It's not going to fall on the side of a successful personal statement. Also, check the length and how you adhere to the guidelines. There is always a guideline. If they are telling you your personal statement must not be more than 4,000 characters and yours is 5,000 characters, it is a turn off. That one is even like a no from the beginning. They might not even bother reading it. So you have your Word document. Check your Word document. There is a place there where you have the number of words. If you click on the number of words, the characters will come out. So once that happens, then you are good to go. You will know, oh, this thing is more than, oh, what should I do? Then look for irrelevant content you already added. Remove those irrelevant contents. Put those things that matter. Then continue. Do you understand? Please take note of all these. These are the things that they will look out for. I mean the admission committee. These are the things they are going to look out for. Okay? So also proofread your personal statement. Proofread your personal statement for the errors. So you can make use of Grammarly. Grammarly helps you correct your personal statement. It will help you correct the punctuation, because if the punctuation are not well, they are not well done there, believe me, they might not understand what you are trying to say, because punctuation gives meaning to whatever you are saying. So where you are meant to put comma, you did not put comma. Where you are meant to put a full stop, a column, a semicolon, you are not putting it the way you are meant to put it. They will not understand what you are saying. So please proofread and check for errors. Check for punctuation errors. Check for errors so that you can correct those things. Then, another thing I would say you should do while you are trying to analyze for a successful and unsuccessful personal statement is seek for feedback. That is why you have admission advisors like us. Once you send it to someone like us, we would let you know, oh, you have done well. However, you have to work on this, this, and this. Don't just go ahead and submit. At Nexi Concept Limited here, we review students' personal statements. So don't just write and say, I'm done. Elizabeth told us to check this. I have checked everything. It is not enough, please. Send it to professionals to check for you. If you send it to us, we are going to review it and copy and correct you, and still even review again, even if you send to us, and let you know if you are good to go. So seek for feedback. Then check it multiple times, like read your personal statement multiple times and, oh, am I good to go? Because what if they call you for interview? You have to say what is in your personal statement. You can't be called for interview and go there and be saying another thing. You have to say things that align with what you have in your personal statement. Okay? So once you have done all these things and you have checked it, like giving yourself a thumbs up, then you are good to go. You can now go ahead and submit your personal statement with confidence. So you can go ahead and submit your personal statement with confidence. And trust me, there is no way you would not get your admission. There is no way. There's no way. If you can follow all these steps I have stated above, there is no way you will not get admission. I'll be ending the session now, and I'll be answering questions. But before then, let me also reiterate this. For your personal statement, Let it be personal. Talk about personal story, like include personal story, things that has happened to you before. Relate it to your past experience. Relate it to your goals, your career goals. It makes the personal statement more engaging, and it even make it more suitable to read. When you are reading, just take for example, you are reading a novel. If the writer is able to engage you, you will be able to stick close to the novel. You will not even want to drop it. You will forget you've not eaten. So do it in a way that the admission committee will not want to drop your personal statement. They just want to go ahead with it. So personal story should be there. Then unique selling points. Identify what makes you stand out from other applicants. A lot of people are submitting, not even people from Nigeria alone. People from Ghana are submitting applications. People from India, people from different places in the world are submitting applications. So how do you make your personal statement stand out? Identify your own unique selling points. Talk about your unique selling points. Talk about your skills that you know that these skills will help you in your study. Talk about those skills. Do you understand? So those are the things you should consider when you are writing your personal statement. Also, tailor your personal statement to the specific program and institution you are applying to. So we've had students that maybe they copied it from someone, they just copy and paste from somewhere. It is generic. They didn't really have the point they are expected to have. But let your own have the point you are meant to have. If you are writing for Birmingham City University, talk about Birmingham City University. Talk about the course modules of Birmingham City University, not the course modules of another school. Because when they are saying you are talking about course modules of another school, it will let them know you have not done research. Your personal statements must show that you have done, hey, you've researched, you've done the kind of research you can do about the school, about the course, about everything. Do you understand? So those are the things you are expected to write. I hope I've been able to tell you how you can analyze and differentiate between a successful and unsuccessful personal statement. And for those of you that already have your personal statement written, I hope I've been able to tell you how you can perfect your personal statement to make it suitable, to make it stand out among the numbers, quite a numbers of applications that the admission committee will be receiving. I hope I've been able to do that. So now I'm going to move to the question and answer session. So I've said quite a number of things. Let me hear from you. What do you want to say? Ask question. Ask question. Maybe you've heard something before, they said this and that. So ask me, so does it mean if I put this, it is not good? Does it mean if I put that, it is not good? Ask question. Ask me question. You want me to give you a recap? Okay, let me just give you a recap. Okay, so personal statement, I said, is a 1 to 2 page essay that contains the following: a brief introduction about yourself. And when I was saying a brief introduction about yourself, I spoke about how important it is for you to grab the attention of the admission committee at the beginning. So I also said it must contain your educational background. It must contain your professional experience, your professional history or employment history. You must be able to talk about why you want to go for that degree. It might be the undergraduate degree, your master's degree. Talk about why you want to go for it. Talk about why you chose the institution. Talk about the program you have chosen. Talk about the country. Talk about course modules, the modules that interest you. All the modules might not interest you, but there's no way some of the modules will not interest you. So I told you to talk about the modules that interest you. Talk about your motivations. Talk about your goals. Talk about how it relates with the course you picked. And then talk about your postgraduate study plan. So those are the things I asked you to talk about. After I gave brief explanation on each point, on what is expected, I gave example on what is expected. After I moved ahead to talk about the tips to analyze a successful and unsuccessful personal statement. And now I'm asking, yes, okay. I've seen a question, I'm going to answer the question. So, and now I'm asking you to ask me question to clarify anything you are not clear about. Ask question. Okay. So, mind you, I also mentioned that personal statements can also be called statements of purpose. Okay. So now, Afro Shushi, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name well, is asking, is there a difference between a personal statement and essay? Yes, please, there is a difference. Essay can be more than 800 words sometimes. Essay can be like, they can tell you to write 1,500 words. Personal statement is talking about everything about yourself. Personal, it is personal. Though personal statement comes in form of an essay, it is not a letter. It is not letter of intent. You are not writing address and saying letter and writing a title by saying letter of, it's not letter of intent. It is personal statement. So it is meant to come in form of essay, but it's not essay per se, like it's not essay per se. Because in your personal statement, essay can tell you to write you can write an essay about yourself. Write an essay about yourself. While personal statements will contain yourself, you talk about yourself, you talk about your course, you talk about your experience, you are talking about everything in just one in just like 1 or 2 pages. So that is why it is different from essay. Majority of the time, maybe when you are applying for scholarship and they are asking for essays, they don't ask for everything in 1 or 2 pages. They try to divide it into different sections. One section will be asking you about how your course relates. Another section will be asking you about why you want to go to that country. Another question will be asking you about maybe your leadership experience. I'm talking about scholarship essays now. Another will be asking you about, okay, can you talk about your, okay, I said leadership experience already. Another will be asking you about maybe your postgraduate study plan, what you plan to do after you are done. So that is essay. They have it in different sections. But personal statements want everything to be in 1 or 2 pages, like all together. You are saying everything all together. So that's just like the slight difference between the two. I hope I've been able to answer that your question. Afro Susi. Is there any other question? For people that are just joining, you are going to get the recorded section of this later on. So for people that are just joining, we are already in the question and answer session. So if I don't get any question and answer again, then I'm going to call it a day. And that means you'll be expecting us next time. And if you have written your personal statement, like I said earlier, send it to us. We have counselors, we have our admission advisors that are ready to review your personal statements and let you know if they are suitable and if they would make you stand out among the number of applications they are going to receive. Okay, what content are seen as irrelevant? Thank you so much. I love that question. Yeah, because I mentioned it. Yes, Kola, he followed me for him to even ask that question, that what content are seen as really irrelevant. Okay, so when I was talking, I spoke about the things needed. You have to talk about your academic background and everything. So now you are saying what content are seen as irrelevant. So let me take, for example, I'm going to use an example to explain this one, this irrelevant content. Okay, so you are asked to talk about your professional experience, and you already know that you are to write just 800 words, maximum of 800 words. So you are just to write quickly on, okay, what have you done, your roles, your responsibility, and your achievements in that role. You don't need to expatiate better by saying, okay, maybe you were the manager, you were the one managing your team, by saying, okay, I've seen a time whereby, just because you want them to see that you are a That was why I said essay is different from personal statement, because essay you will be able to talk about it because that is only focusing on that section alone. So now you are not saying, okay, there was even a time I was able to help my team navigate. Yes, you were able to help your team navigate, but you would have classified everything as a responsibility and just say it together than trying to analyze it one by one. Analyzing it one by one is already becoming irrelevant because personal statements only need 800 words, not 1,500, 2,000 words. But essay will be telling you that the section is only want you to talk about your leadership experience alone. Then you'll be able to say you helped your team navigate this, you helped them, you provided solutions to them, you are always having meetings with them to ensure everything is good. You can be saying that then, but not in your personal statement. Saying it in your personal statement, it is irrelevant at that point because those things will add up and they won't allow you to put the necessary details you are meant to put. Do you understand? So another irrelevant things you can put is let's look at your educational background. Okay, you want to talk about your educational background. It is irrelevant when you started talking about your primary school, your crèche, when you were doing your crèche, what happened during your crèche, your primary school. You can still put your secondary school, but you are not to dwell too much on it. Dwelling too much on it is making them irrelevant. They are becoming irrelevant because they are just going to take up your space and you are after space. Do you understand, Kolanon? I hope I've been able to answer that. So you have to make it brief as you can make it. But while it is being brief, ensure you put the necessary information. But don't talk too much by going into unnecessary details. So those are the irrelevant things. Okay? Any other thing before we call it a day? It is almost fun. Oh, thank you so much. Well understood. Thank you, Kolanon. And thank you for following from the beginning. I really appreciate that. Is there any other question before we call it a day? So you can just send us a DM if you want us to check your personal statement, review your personal statement for you. And if you would like to review it yourself, don't forget I told you that having one eye see your personal statement before you submit it is not a good one. Let there be room for feedback. So send it to more than one person. And ensure the people you are sending it to are professionals that know about it. Not just your friend that you are both applying for study. No. Send it to the people that know about it. Okay? I believe I've been able to answer all questions by now. Okay. All right. I've answered all. Sorry, I'm 35 years old. Can I still enroll for undergraduate course? I have SSC 2009. So please, is that SSC your, like, that is the highest qualification you have? Okay, Abib, please, can you just send us a DM? Because I would like to ask you some questions before I give you an answer to your question. Please send a DM and we are going to answer you. However, remember that 35 years old for undergraduates, it is relative actually. So let's have a discussion with you. Please send a DM. Okay, Oluwaseyi, thank you so much. Thanks for the compliments. So Abib, I'll be expecting your DM. Send a DM so that we can answer your inquiries. Is there any other question? Okay. So we are going to call it a day here. Please don't forget your personal statement must be personal. Like, it must be personal. Don't forget that. It must not be AI generated. It must be clearly written in simple terms, not complex sentences that they will not even be able to relate, like, what's going on here. Okay? Also, remember that your introduction and conclusion matters. Your introduction grabs their attention and makes them want to continue reading your personal statement, while your conclusion leaves a lasting impact on them. It wants them to come back to your personal statement and read it again that, oh, this person said this, said that. So take note of all those things. Also, don't forget that don't be the only eyes to read your personal statement before you submit it. Okay? So thank you all so much for coming for today's session. Thank you, Oluwaseyi, Nini, Olajadesola. Thank you, everybody. And see you next week. Same time, same venue. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us.